Dear students, in today's class you are going to learn how to prepare total debtors account and total creditors accounts, bills receivable account and bills payable account. Because these are the accounts which we need to prepare while converting single entry system records into double entry system records. Here some what you call information may be missing. In order to find out such missing information, we need to prepare different types of accounts under this system. Okay, in the beginning we will prepare the total debtors account. First, try to understand what is total debtors account and why it is prepared. Total debtors account is prepared in order to find out the missing figure. As I told you, under single entry system of bookkeeping, all the business transactions are not recorded in a systematic manner. Because of that reason, complete information is not available. That is why here, by preparing total debtors accounts, we can find out one of the missing figures, either that is closing what you call balance of debtors or credit sales. Whatever amount is missing or whatever figure is missing, that figure can easily be calculated by preparing total debtors accounts. First, try to understand what is total debtors. What do you mean by total debtors account? Why it is required to be prepared? Here, total debtors accounts in the sense a businessman may be what you call selling the goods and services on credit. That is why here the amount which is to be recovered or the amount which is to be collected from the debtors who have what you call purchased goods on credit, that is calculated by preparing total debtors account. That is why here total debtors account will give you the clear picture of the credit transactions which have been made by the businessman. Here how to prepare this total debtors account? ನೋಡಿ, ಇದು ಟೋಟಲ್ ಡೇಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮನ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಉದ್ರಿಯಾಗಿ ಮಾರಾಟ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಆ ಯಾವ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಉದ್ರಿಯಾಗಿ ಅವನು ಮಾರಾಟ ಮಾಡಿದಾನೋ ಆ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯಿಂದ ಎಷ್ಟು ದುಡ್ಡು ನಮಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ಎಂಬ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಈ ಖಾತೆ ಕೊಡ್ತದೆ ನಮಗೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಈ ಖಾತೆ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಉದ್ರಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಾರಾಟ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಥವಾ ಎಷ್ಟು ದುಡ್ಡು ನಮಗೆ ಗ್ರಾಹಕರಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಯಾರು ಉದ್ರಿ ಖರೀದಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ದುಡ್ಡು ಇನ್ನೂ ಬರಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ಎಂಬ ವಿಷಯವನ್ನ ನಾವು ಈ ಖಾತೆಯಿಂದ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು. By preparing this account, we come to know the actual amount received from the debtors, and the next one is the amount which is to be received. It means which is not yet collected from the debtors. That is why that information we can get by preparing this total debtors account. Just let us see what are the important what to call points which we show in total debtors accounts. Here in the total debtors account, first thing what we show, the balance amount which is due from debtors, if any, if it is given in the problem, that is to be taken here. What is this? This is the amount which is not yet collected from the debtors in the previous year. The amount which was not collected in the previous year is to be taken as the what you call opening balance this year. Assume that in the last year actual amount which was due from the debtors was rupees 1 lakh, but out of that the debtors paid rupees 80,000 and 20,000 was due. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, 1 ಲಕ್ಷ ಏನಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಹೋದ ವರ್ಷ ಉದ್ರಿಯಾಗಿ ಮಾರಾಟ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಿತ್ತು, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ 80,000 ದುಡ್ಡು ಈಗ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ನಮಗೆ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಗ್ರಾಹಕರ ಹತ್ರ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಈಗ 20,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಏನ್ರಿ ಇದು, 20,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ನಮಗೆ ಹೋದ ವರ್ಷ ಬರಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. In the sense, in the last year we didn't collect rupees 20,000 from some of the customers who had purchased goods on credit. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ವಾಟ್, ಕ್ಲೋಸಿಂಗ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ಡೆಟರ್ಸ್. ಹೋದ ವರ್ಷ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೇನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಇದಕ್ಕೂ ಹೋದ ವರ್ಷದ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದು ಕ್ಲೋಸಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನಾವು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಹೋದ ವರ್ಷ ಬರಬೇಕಾದಂತಹ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನ ನಾವು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಈ ವರ್ಷದ ಖಾತೆಯನ್ನ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೈ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೆಟರ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಟೇಕನ್ ಆಸ್ ದ ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ current year's account. That is why how much, rupees 20,000, we have to show this one. Rupees 20,000 is to be shown here. Next one is, assume that this year the businessman has sold goods on credit to the extent of rupees 1 lakh. Assume that this year he has sold goods on credit to the extent of rupees 1 lakh. Now the total amount which is due from the debtors is rupees how much? 1,20,000. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, 20,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಹೋದ ವರ್ಷದ ಬರಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು, 1,00,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಈ ವರ್ಷದ ಬರಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ 1,20,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ನಮಗೆ ಗ್ರಾಹಕರಿಂದ ಬರಬೇಕಾದಂತಹ ದುಡ್ಡು ಎಂದು ಈ ಖಾತೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. What it shows here, this is the amount which was not collected in the previous year. That is why this one is taken as the opening balance. And this year, the businessman has sold goods worth rupees 1 lakh on credit. Therefore, the total amount which is to be collected from the debtors is how much? Rupees 1 lakh as per the total debtors account. Okay, fine. This is 1,20,000. Assume that during the year, the customers have returned some goods. Assume that goods returned by customers, for example, sales returns, rupees 5,000 I am going to write here. Returns. What is this? Sales returns. Here the businessman had sold goods worth rupees 1 lakh, but some of the goods were returned by the customers. Here reason may be sometimes defective products might have reached the customers, or sometimes the goods may not be as per the order of the customer. In that case, what do? They will return the goods to the businessman. That is why after the returns, what we have to do? We have to show that one on the credit side of total debtors account. Next one is, assume that during the year some of the customers have paid the amount. ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಕೆಲವು ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Here I write cash received from whom? From the debtors. Some of the debtors have paid the amount. I will take rupees 50,000 here. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 50,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ನಮಗೆ ಗ್ರಾಹಕರು ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. In the form of cash we have collected rupees 50,000 during the year. You know that even bills are used in the credit transactions. That is why here the businessman has collected some bills. Therefore, such bills should also be taken here. If the cash is collected in the form of cash, if the amount has come here, that should be recorded. If the bills are accepted by the debtors, and such bills should also be written here as bills receivables. If the amount has come in the form of bills receivables, that should also be shown here. You know that this amount will be collected by the businessman, on the due date. He will send that bills receivables to the party who has signed it. Then after that, the businessman will collect it. That is why here in the form of bills receivables, rupees 30,000 is received. Next one is, to the debtors, the businessman might have given some discount. Here there are two types of discounts are there. One is the cash discount and the next one is the trade discount. Here cash discount generally is given by the businessman for the prompt payments. See, when we purchase some product, for that if discount is given, that is called a trade discount. But here, after selling the goods on credit, if the debtors are not making the payment, in that case he may try to give some discount to the debtors so that they can make the prompt payment. That type of discount is called as cash discount. Suppose the amount which is due from Mr. A is rupees 10,500. 10,500 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಎ ಲಿಂತ್ರ ನಮಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ, businessman ಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. What the businessman tells, see, if you make the payment within a week or within this particular period of time, you need not pay rupees 10,500. Simply you have to pay rupees 10,000 and your account gets closed. This is called as a discount which is given by the businessman to the debtors. Therefore, if such type of discount is given, that is called as discount allowed. That is called as discount allowed. That is to be credited here. Assume that rupees 2,000 is the amount of discount which is given by the businessman to his debtors. That discount allowed is to be credited here. See, when we make this type of adjustments, at the end we are going to get the result. You see here rupees 1,20,000 is on debit side. Next one is here also 1,20,000 I put because I am balancing the account. Here the total is 85,000, 87,000 is the total. See, out of rupees 1,20,000, we have to deduct rupees how much? 87,000. Then whatever the balance comes, that we have to put here. It comes to rupees 33,000. Comes to rupees 33,000. Check it. 3 2 5 5 10. 1 remains. 4 3 7 7 12. Okay, 1,20,000. Here rupees 33,000 is called as the amount which is due. It means by whom? By the debtors. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಗ್ರಾಹಕರು ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾದಂತಹ ದುಡ್ಡು ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ಡೌನ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್ rupees 33,000. Just try to understand here. This is the actual amount due by the customers. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆಟರ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ದುಡ್ಡು? Rupees 1,20,000 was the amount due from the debtors. Out of that, we have deducted whatever the goods they had returned, that we have deducted rupees 5,000. And in the form of cash, we have collected rupees 50,000. And next one is in the form of bills, rupees 30,000 is collected. And next one is discount allowed, rupees 2,000 is there. Discount is given by the businessman to the customers. Next one is, this is the amount at the end of the year which is not collected. It means this is called as closing value of debtors. This amount will be taken as the opening value or the opening balance in the next year's debtors account. Just like rupees 20,000 which were taken, previous year's figure has come here. In the similar way, this rupees 33,000 is to be taken next year as to balance brought down. To balance brought down, we will take rupees 33,000 in the next year. Now here under single entry system of bookkeeping, try to understand that credit sales are not given in the problem. What is not given? Credit sales are not given. If credit sales are not given and other items are given here, what you have to do is you have to prepare the debtors account and show the items on the credit side and find out the differencing figure. Now here this side rupees, how much is there? This side rupees 1,20,000 we get because they will give even the closing amount of debtors in the problem. If closing amount of debtors is also given, closing balance is also given, that also you have to enter and make the total. Here credit side rupees 1,20,000 is there, but on the debit side only rupees 20,000 is there. That is why in order to balance this account, what do? We have to write here on the debit side as credit sales and write rupees 1 lakh. 1 lakh. What is this? This is the balancing figure here. Balancing figure which we calculated. Sometimes, see, credit sales may be given in the problem. If credit sales is given, then we calculate what? If credit sales is given and they won't give closing balance. If closing balance is calculated by us, then we have to write this one as balancing figure. This is the way how we have to calculate total debtors account. But here, in case of bills receivable, sometimes bills receivables may be dishonored by the party. That should be debited to the concerned debtors account. That part I will take in the next class. Okay. Now, this is total debtors account. Now, I will take up one more account, that is bills receivable account. Bills receivables account is also required to be prepared in the conversion of single entry into double entry. How bills receivables account is to be prepared? Assume that we have got certain bills which we collected in the previous year but not cashed. That is why here some amount, the bills worth rupees 10,000 are there with us. ಈಗ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ನಡೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ದ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ people. We collected some bills in the previous years, but all the bills were not encashed. Therefore the amount which is not yet collected in the form of bills is rupees 10,000. That we have to take as the opening balance brought down rupees 10,000. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ನಾವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಹೋದ ವರ್ಷ ನಮಗೆ ಬಿಲ್ಗಳು ಬಂದಿದ್ದು, we had collected some bills in the previous year. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬಿಲ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ನೋ ಎನ್ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಆಗೋ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ, ಅಥವಾ we sent to the parties and we collected the amount, ಆದ್ರೆ ಇದರದ್ದು ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್ ಇನ್ನೂ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ. That is why what is there here, 10,000 worth bills are there with us. It means we have not yet sent these bills to whom, to the parties, because due date may be there. That is why this one should be taken as the opening balance. Already 10,000 worth bills are there with us. And this year, just you see, we collected bills worth rupees 30,000. That should be taken here. But what we have to do is, here we have to write sundry debtors account or total debtors account, because opposite account's name is required to be entered here. Rupees how much? Rupees 30,000. What it shows now? See, previous year's bills worth rupees 10,000 were there with us. Next one is are there with us, and next one is this year also we collected bills worth rupees 30,000. It means as of now we have got bills worth rupees 40,000. 40,000 bills are there with us. Okay, fine. In case during the year, if the bills are encashed or if the bills are sent to the parties and collected the amount, that should appear on the credit side. ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಬಿಲ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀವಿ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಗೆ, ಆನ್ ದ ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಆ ಬಿಲ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. ಕಳಿಸಿದ ನಂತರ ಆ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಗಳು ಅದನ್ನ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ವಾಟ್ ಡು ವಿ ಡೂ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಬಿಲ್ಸ್? ಸಿ, ಆನ್ ದ ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್, ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ 2 months 3 months ಏನಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, the actual amount will come. That is why on that particular date, if we send the bill to the party, party will make the payment. When the payment is made by the party, that should be recorded on the credit side. This is the amount to be collected, or this is the amount which is there in the form of bills. But when we send the bills and receive the cash from the parties, that should be recorded on the credit side. That is why here I write by cash received against bills. When we send the bills, we get the cash. Assume rupees 25,000 is collected. How much? Rupees 25,000 is collected. Now we have to close this one, rupees 40,000, and here also we have to write rupees 40,000. And what is the remaining balance? This is called as closing balance of bills receivables. This is the balancing figure. This is called as balancing figure. What is the balancing figure? Here 10,000, here 40,000 is there, here 25,000 is there. Therefore differencing figure is 15,000. What it indicates? It means 15,000 worth bills are there at the end of this year. Therefore this balance we are going to take as opening balance in the next year's bills receivable account. Very simple thing is there. What we do in the next year, the same bills we will take here, we will show like this: to balance brought down 15,000. ಮುಂದಿನ ವರ್ಷ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು ಈ ಬಿಲ್ಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಬಿಲ್ಸ್ ಡಿಸಾನರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ದಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಇನ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ವೆನ್ ವಿ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್. ಈಸಿಲಿ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಒನ್. ಐ ಹೋಪ್ ಯು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್. ನೌ we will take up the total creditors accounts. How total creditors or sundry creditors account is prepared? It is quite opposite to the total debtors account. Total creditors accounts. Who are the creditors? Creditors are the persons, or creditors are the suppliers who supplied goods required by us on credit. If any person, if any what you call business supplied the goods to us on credit, then such person or such what you call business undertaking is called as our creditor. Here creditors in the sense we have to make the payment to the outsiders. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ದುಡ್ಡು ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಬೇರೆಯವರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. That is why this account will show how much amount of credit purchases we made and how much amount of payment we made, then what is the balance to be paid to the outsiders, in the sense to the creditors. Therefore while preparing this account, what we have to do is, first we have to take the balance, opening balance if any given in the problem nalli ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು ಏನಂತ, opening balance of creditors. Assume that rupees 20,000 is given. that opening balance is required to be written here first. What is the meaning of what you call opening creditors here? Opening creditors in the sense previous year we had purchased some amount, some what you call products on credit, and amount due was rupees. You take for example rupees 1,50,000. Out of that we have paid only rupees how much 80,000, and 70,000 is called as that balancing amount which is not yet paid by the business undertaking. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ 1,50,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿದು ಉದ್ರಿ ಖರೀದಿ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ನಾವು, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ 80,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿಯನ್ನ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೀವಿ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಉಳಿದಿದ್ದು ಎಷ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 70,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಇದೆ. Or we can also take this one like this. See, in order to match this figure, 1,50,000 actually goods worth rupees 1,50,000 we had purchased on credit. Out of that we have paid rupees 1,30,000 in the previous year, and rupees 20,000 is yet to be paid. In the last year we paid rupees 1,30,000 because last year we had purchased goods worth rupees 1,50,000. Out of that 1,30,000 has already been paid, and rupees 20,000 is the balance amount to be paid. That is why this rupees 20,000 is to be taken in the beginning as opening balance of what? Creditors 20,000. During the year, in this year again we may go for credit purchase. If such credit purchases are there, that we have to record here on the credit side. By credit purchases, assume that we purchased goods worth rupees 1,80,000 during the current year. ಈ ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ 1,80,000 ಸರಕುಗಳನ್ನ ಅಥವಾ ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡ್ವಿ ಉದ್ರಿಯಾಗಿ. This amount is required to be paid. Now actually how much amount we have to pay? Rupees 2 lakh. See, previous year's 20,000 was there. Next one is this year's 1,80,000 is there. Therefore, total amount rupees 2 lakh is the amount which is to be paid to our creditors. Okay, fine. On the debit side, what we have to write? On the debit side, see, during the year, some of the goods which we had purchased from our suppliers may be defective, or maybe what you call not as per our order. What do? In that case, we return the goods to our suppliers. Assume that here goods worth rupees 10,000 were defective or not as per our order. That is why what did we do here? We returned the same to our suppliers. That we have to write here. This is called purchases returns. Rupees how much? 10,000. That we have to write here. See, earlier the actual amount due was how much? Rupees 2 lakh. But now 10,000 worth products we return to the suppliers. Therefore, to the suppliers now we have to pay only rupees 1,90,000. That is the meaning. Next one is during the year. Assume that we paid the amount in the form of cash. To whom? To our creditors. That also we have to write here. To cash paid to creditors. Assume rupees 1 lakh is paid during the current year. 1 lakh amount is paid in the form of cash. In the similar way, here also what do? We also sign the bills which are sent to us by the parties. See, in credit transactions, bills receivables and bills payables are common. That is why here when the bills are sent to us for acceptance by whom? By the parties. We have accepted some bills and sent to the parties. Therefore, here the bills which are already signed, which are already what you call accepted, must be sent to whom? To the parties. Therefore, such amount is required to be written on the debit side of this creditors account. Here bills payable are right. Bills payable. These are the bills accepted by us and we have kept these bills with us. Then we will make the amount, or we will pay the amount of these bills on the due date. That is why here bills payable, how much? You take for example rupees 50,000. 50,000 worth bills are accepted by us. That should also be written on the debit side. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ನಿಮಗೆ? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ನಾವು? ಬಿಲ್ಸ್ ಬೇರೆಯವರು ಏನಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ನಾವು ಉದ್ರಿ ಖರೀದಿ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಆ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಯಾರು ನಮಗೆ ಉದ್ರಿ ಖರೀದಿ ಮಾರಾಟ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವರು ನಮಗೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಬಿಲ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ಬಿಲ್ಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಆಯ್ತಪ್ಪ, ಆಫ್ಟರ್ 2 months ಆಫ್ಟರ್ 3 months ನಾವು ಈ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಬಿಲ್ಲಿನ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. 50,000 should be written here. Next one is, sometimes here the persons who have supplied goods to us on credit may give discount to us. That is called cash discount. ನಮಗೆ ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, for the prompt payment they will also give discount to us. Instead you assume that actually the amount which is to be paid to our creditors is rupees 1 lakh. They may ask us to pay rupees 95,000. Instead of 1 lakh, only 95,000 is to be paid for closing the account. Therefore this 5,000 is nothing but discount earned by us. This is an item of income to us. If such what you call discount is given to us by the parties or by the creditors or suppliers, that should be written here like this: discount earned. If discount is allowed, then that has to be taken in debtors account. If discount is earned, that is to be taken here. Assume that rupees 2,000 is the discount earned. Now what we have to do is, we have to close the account. Assume here rupees 2 lakh is there on the credit side. Here also we write rupees 2 lakh. Now here what is the difference in figure? 1,50,000, 1,62,000 is there. Remaining balance we have to write here. To balance carried on. What is the total? Just to check. 8 to 10. 1 remains. 4, 5, 9, 9, 10. 1 remains. Okay. 38,000 is the balancing figure here. What it represents, what it shows. See, during the year we had purchased some goods on credit, and even previous year's balance was also there. The actual amount due was rupees 2 lakh. Then out of that, see, whatever the returns we made, that is deducted. Next one is, even the parties have given some discount, that also we have deducted, and we paid in the form of cash rupees 1 lakh, accepted the bills of rupees 50,000, and now the balance which is yet to be paid to our creditors is rupees 38,000. This is called as balancing figure, and we also call it as closing balance of creditors. See, this amount we are going to take in the next year, because this is the amount which is not yet paid by us to the creditors. Therefore this closing balance of creditors we are going to take in the next year, and we will show it on the credit side by balance brought down, just like this. This is the previous year's balance, right? In the similar way, this year's balance we are going to take in the next year as the opening value. Okay. Now here, why do we prepare this total creditors account here? See, in the problem, what do they give? They will give you the information, but some information or some item may be missing there. Suppose they may not give the value of credit purchases. They may not give credit purchases in the problem. If this credit purchase, this item is not given in the problem, what you have to do is, you have to put all the figures. First, you should know where to record each and every item. Once you put all the figures there, then close the account, and whatever balancing figure you get, that balancing figure you have to write as credit purchases, in case if credit purchase is not given in the problem. Sometimes they may not give the closing balance. If closing balance is not given, if all other items are given, you know, very simple, and by entering all the what you call entries, at the end we are going to find out the balancing figure. That balancing figure is nothing but closing value of creditors. That is why first you have to understand the meaning of each and every item, and where we have to show whether debit side or credit side. Then if you understand the effect of that entry, then easily you can prepare total creditors account. Then in the similar way, we have to prepare here total, this total creditors account is over. Now we have to prepare bills payable account. Bills payable account. Here is 2 lakh and 2 lakh. Now bills payable account is also one of the important accounts which is required to be prepared under conversion of single entry into double entry. ಈ ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಬಿಲ್ಸ್ ಪೇಯಬಲ್ ಖಾತೆಯನ್ನು ಸಹ ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಬಿಲ್ಸ್ ಪೇಯಬಲ್ ಏನಿದು, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೈಬಿಲಿಟಿ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೈ ಇಟ್ ಶೋಸ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್. ಹಿಯರ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ by balance brought down, if any. What is the meaning of this? Last year we had accepted some bills, and bills were there with us, and we did not make the payment, and some bills are there with us. Therefore, such bills are to be taken as the opening bills in the bills payable account. Assume that rupees at 10,000 I am going to write here, 10,000 worth bills payable are there with us still. We have to make the payment of such bills. This is the balance which we have to take from the previous year. If the balance is not given, no need to take here. Next one is, during the current year, we have accepted some bills. Just you see here, bills worth rupees 50,000, that we have to write by writing the opposite account's name. Sundry creditors account or total creditors account, rupees how much? 50,000. See, here this account shows that rupees 60,000 is the amount which is to be paid by us, and that is there in the form of bills. Bills payables are there with us. That is why during the year, some of the bills might have been paid by us. That we have to record on the debit side. Very simple thing. Assume that we accepted and paid the amount during the current year. That amount is required to be written on the opposite side to cash paid. Here cash paid against what? Bills payable. Assume rupees 40,000 is paid in the form of cash. See, on the due date, what the party will do? Party will send the bill to us. Then after taking that bill, we have to make the payment. That is why here, if we have paid the amount of rupees 40,000, then remaining balance of bills payables are required to be written here. What is the balancing figure? To balance carried on. Here out of 60,000 bills, we have paid 40,000 bills, and the remaining balance is rupees 20,000. What it indicates? Here 20,000 is the amount which is not yet paid. Bills payables are there with us, but we have not paid the amount of these bills. This amount may be paid in the next year. That is why this amount of rupees 20,000 is to be taken as the opening balance in the next year's bills payable account. That is why, like this, what you have to do is you have to prepare total debtors account, total creditors account, bills receivable account, and bills payable account, and try to find out the missing figures. Here also they may not give the closing balance of bills payable. What you have to do is you have to enter the figures, then find out the differencing figure. Sometimes they may not give the actual, what you call here, cash paid to the what you call cash paid against bills may not be given in the problem. What you have to do is you have to enter the other things. Then next one is you have to find out this balance and write that one as balancing figure. That is why you should understand the meaning and the effect of each and every entry. Then easily you can prepare this type of accounts. Then once you are perfect in preparing the statement of affairs, and the next one is total debtors account, total creditors account, bills receivable and bills payable account, then other things can easily be understood by you in this chapter. I hope you understood this. If any doubt is there, you can send the message, and you try to send this video even to your friends so that they can also get the benefit of this. Thank you.